Naveen, thank you so much for doing the session with me.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. So why don't you tell everybody who's watching a bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Navin Albert. I am a product manager at DocuSign, a senior product manager at DocuSign. I've spent about 15 years in the industry. I spent about 9 years in Cisco.
Hmm,
Lately, I've been involved in AI and data projects at companies such as Splunk and Databricks and
really
Pure
cool.
Storage.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So I know you just finished Product Leader Blueprint recently. So let's love to go back before Product Leader Blueprint. I know you were joining DocuSign at that time. So what was a challenge or like something you were looking to solve in your life?
Sure, absolutely. I think that was a great pivotal moment for me because I had recently done my MBA, finished my MBA a few years before that.
Yeah,
Um, my background is I originally came from product management. I was like a junior product manager at Cisco.
cool.
And then when I did my MBA, I did a little bit of switching and I went into product marketing. Um, and then after a few years in product marketing, I decided between product management is the best for me.
Yeah,
I really love doing product management, so I came back into product management.
good stuff.
uh, and at that time I was struggling a little bit between, like, my product marketing hat and product management. um, I wanted to get some good executive level education on, specifically on product management. I had gotten a lot of like training on general leadership, general management principles, and a top tier MBA, but that's not really helpful when preparing you for your day to day job, right? How do you interact with engineering? How do you interact with sales? How do you take projects head on and take ownership and drive the projects? And so I felt I was in a situation where I wanted to get some good grounding on that, and that's what led me. At the same time, I saw some of your marketing material, Shobit, that kind of I wanted that next level, not the beginners one, but like a sort of an executive level. How do you sort of become a director of product management? And so your course was the only course that really, that's the only choice I had, so I took it.
Excellent. And you went. I know you finished your MBA. Went to Haas, which is at Berkeley. I remember it as a school where I wanted to most go, just because the day I visited, the weather was so gorgeous. I was like, "Oh, cool! I want to go there." And they rejected me, so I hold that against them. But yeah, yeah, you went there. You did leadership curriculum, and then you came in here. So tell me, okay, so you made the decision. You start working with us. Reflecting back on the early days, what are like some of the things that maybe surprised you or delighted you? Just curious about your early experience.
I think one of the key things that really surprised me, or I should say, really helped me,
Hmm.
was very simple communication tips that you provided,
Right.
including how to talk to engineering and what are they looking for, what is their perspective, how to talk to sales and the various stakeholders that you have. That's one aspect. Like, you gave very practical tips on how to uh, get work done with them, and also like how to gain that momentum, right? How to start with something, gain momentum. That's one thing that strongly stuck to me in the early days. And the second thing is ownership. Uh,
Hmm.
a key thing that I got out of this course was, like, how do you take ownership? Now, I've heard that term being used, thrown around quite a bit.
Yeah. Hmm.
People throw a lot of terms around leadership, ownership, and things like that. But how do you actually implement that in the product management framework,
Totally.
like in your job, in your day-to-day life? And uh, areas that you pointed me to books that I just then went and read. And not only the frameworks that you had in your course, but also the books that you pointed me to, all helped me really ground my thinking on ownership, my thinking on communication, communicate like a marketer. Those aspects, those were the most useful to me right at the beginning of the course.
Sweet. Great. No, that's amazing, and you're so right. Like leadership, ownership, all these ships, they are. It's great to have broad thinking of what these are, but like day to day, like what does it mean for your job, especially in product management, which is like I've seen a lot of the material from a CEO's perspective, a C-suite's perspective, less so from product perspective. So I'm really glad you love those. So tell us more, like share more about your experience. I know you were like super participative in lab calls. Like share more what happened there. What are some of the big things you took away?
Yeah, specifically, I think interesting aspects of your course include like the material, which is good, and also the lab calls. What I was able to do in the lab calls was like bring my problems up, right? Every week we'd get on these lab calls, and then there are other product managers in the lab calls as well. So when I bring my situation up, not only did you show with you provide your input into it, but I also got input from six other product managers and what their perspective was from their different industries and all that. So that really helped me create some best practices, curate the best practices, not only from one perspective but from multiple perspective. And since you've been on so many of these lab calls, I'm pretty confident that you have curated all of those best practices in your mind um, over a very long period of time. So your perspective on that helped me as well. So it was uniquely helpful to get on those calls whenever I brought up like situations that were going on at my work
Yeah,
or something that's specific or unique problems to me. Right? I was able to get solutions in those calls, so that was very helpful.
amazing, amazing. So cool. Tell me, you got those solutions. Like when you reflect back on day to day what's been going on, like what have you felt some of the biggest changes, the biggest impact that has had on your job?
Yes, the biggest impact that this has had on my job is I've gone from sort of the back seat of my job to the front
Yeah.
seat, right? I am the driver now. I find myself very energized and taking ownership and driving things forward.
Hmm.
Before, I think I was I was trying to do that before, but I didn't know literally how to do it. Like, or I wasn't even confident in like, am I doing the right thing? When you take ownership, right? Is it being pushy? Are you being pushy, or are you taking ownership at the right scale where you're inspiring other people to follow you? Um, Before I took the course, I was confused. I would either sometimes not take ownership because I didn't have the confidence,
Hmm.
and sometimes where I took ownership and started working on something, I felt like I was pushing others. I was being pushy and not being cooperative. But after the course, I feel like I am firmly in the driver's seat,
Nice.
but I'm also not being pushy. I'm like, I am very confident about the ways I'm going about doing things. And also, I'm being very collaborative and having people like inspired to follow me by taking the ownership rather than coming across as pushy.
Love it.
I think that's been a big change in my career. And people see that leadership from me as well, and people's view of me has changed in those aspects.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, actually, that's one of the things I love to hear that other people are perceiving the changes. Like, I had someone tell me, hey, what happened to you? Like, suddenly things have changed. Like, I like what's coming here. Do more of that. So,
Uh-huh.
love to hear that's happened on your side as well. Um, cool. So, last couple of questions, just like, this is for someone who's considering joining the program, who's like still looking, like, what advice would you have for them?
My advice would be, I've I've tried to. You can get um, l- lots of generic management and leadership advice from places, but investing in yourself, especially if you're specifically a product manager,
Yeah.
even more a product manager in tech, I think investing in yourself, especially with programs like yourself. Don't hesitate too much. Like, go experiment with it. I took a shot. It turned out to be very fruitful for me, and so I'd say, yeah, take a shot. Where you may be in different stages. You might be just starting off as a product
Totally.
manager. You may have like 5 years, 10 years already experience under your belt, but you're kind of struggling to get to the next level, or maybe you've even reached the sort of like lower management executive level, but want to break into the sort of VP level,
Yeah.
right? Either way, I think I totally recommend this course. Uh, and now you have various courses. Invest in yourself and go do it and get the
Love it.
confidence.
I mean, thank you so much. This was remarkably helpful. Your clarity, like especially how you like compared, the MBA coursework to the program and like the different things each of them offers. I'm sure that'll be super helpful for anyone watching. So thank you again for doing this.
Thank you so much for your course, and I really enjoy it. And I will be referring to it often as I make progress.
Love it. Thanks.
And
Good.
look forward to being part of the community.
Absolutely. Stay connected. You're always part of a Slack group, and yeah, keep coming back. Cool.
Super. Thanks, Sherwood.